This is Motorsport Radio.
Awesome, right?
The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome. The Superbike Show is back here on Motorsport Radio. Welcome. My name's Lester. Joining us on the show tonight, we have a special guest joining us soon in minutes. We have the brand new BSB radio and trackside commentator, Mr. Duncan Vincent. So, because we are live, if you've got any questions for Duncan Vincent, like who are you, then get them to us. It's at Motorsport Radio on Facebook, Twitter. I'm sure you all know who Duncan Vincent is, especially if you've been anywhere near Knock Hill at a race event in the last few years, because he has been almost the voice of Knock Hill as long as I can remember. So that's probably where you know his name from. Anyway, also joining us tonight, it's Luke Newman back on the show. Good evening, Luke.
Good evening, Lester.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Excellent. All on good form and everything, and back in your university red box studio, I can see.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything seems to be working as well this week, which is good.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, cheers.
Okay. But yeah, Jay joins us, and he's just about recovered from a very dodgy week out in Spain.
I would like to call it more of a successful testing week than a dodgy week in Spain.
Testing alcohol.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. There's a lot that went on in Jay's week of whatever it was, testing bikes. Officially, they were out there testing bikes and pit bikes, and yeah, from the bits of vlog that I've seen, Jay, there seems to be more.
Testing my liver is what you're trying to say.
Anyway, it seemed like you had a good time out in Spain.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a mega week.
We'll get on to talking a bit more.
Beside the drinking, the bike feels good.
Well, good. Excellent. So, yeah, as we say, Duncan Vincent on the show in about 10, 15 minutes or so to talk about, his success at being the new BSB radio and trackside commentator. And as I say, it's at Motorsport Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and everywhere else, YouTube, and on the website anyway. But for now, we've got actually quite a lot of news this weekend that's emerged over the past few days and week anyway. Luke, tell us what's been going on.
So in Moto3, there's been a blow for the Brits as John Mcphee will not be racing this weekend as he's fractured his vertebrae in a training accident. So he'll miss the Indonesian Grand Prix, but he's hopefully going to be back for the Argentine Grand Prix. Michael van der Mark is also out of World Superbike testing as he's fractured his leg. There has been a death as Kunimitsu Takahashi, an icon of motorsport, has passed away. He will always hold a special place in Honda history as a Honda legend, the first Japanese rider to win on a Honda at a 250cc race in Hockenheim in 1961. Over in BSB, Rossi Banham will be racing in the Junior Superstock this season with RB Racing. The former Talent Cup racer and graduate from Fab Racing has said, "I've been training hard over the winter and I believe I'm in good shape, both mentally and physically, to be competitive this season. I can't wait to see what I can achieve." Jimmy Buchanan will be riding in the National Superstock Championship this season with the all-new Blue Motion Racing Kawasaki team. Last season, Buchanan was competing in the Ducati Tri-Options Cup. Buchanan said, "I'm feeling confident and it's great to be joining the team, as I've never had this kind of backing and support before. I feel better on this bike than I've ever felt, so I'm looking forward to getting started." Harry Cook will be back for a second season in the Hell Performance British Junior Supersport Championship as the 15-year-old returns with Yamaha as a McCann's junior team rider. He said, "I'd like to achieve the same as the previous Yamaha riders and friends who have left the championship this season to prove I have what it takes to be at the top level of this sport." TJ Toms will make a return this season, joining the Platform Hire racing team. TJ said, "I think we're capable of fighting for the championship, and I'm hoping to build some good valuable points in the opening round." Luke Williams, Formula Ford racer and FF 1600 national champion and former British GT racer, has just completed his first race weekend on a sidecar, racing at Brands Hatch with Bemsey. Luke only got his racing licence a couple of weeks ago and he qualified second for his first ever sidecar race, mixing it amongst the BSB F1 sidecar lads. In 4 races, he finished on the podium in his class, an overall podium in race 3 and first place in race 4. In Moto America, Jeremy McWilliams got a podium at the grand old age of 58 at the Daytona 200 as he won race 2 of the baggers class. Brandon Pasch won the Daytona 200 with the TOBC Racing Triumph Street Triple 765 RS, repeating his 2021 success. In World Superbike commentary, the official Motorsport Award winner recipient for Commentator of the Year, Dave Goddard, will be featured on the World Superbike's world feed as the lead commentator for some of the support races. Dave has been heard all over the world commentating on Polish Speedway, British Speedway, and multiple club racing live streams through the years. Alex Rabi and Steve English remain on lead comms for the main races on the world feed. And in BSB again, Duncan Vincent has been announced the lead commentator on BSB Radio this season, taking over from Fred Clark, who retired at the end of last season. You can find BSB Radio streaming live on Motorsport Radio this season, and Duncan joins us on the show live.
Yeah, certainly he's on his way, is Duncan. So, the latest news. Thank you very much, Luke. Any standout bits of gossip for you there, Jay? Was you paying attention?
Yeah, probably. We'll probably start off with John Mcphee, really, which is a bit devastating, really, because as we all know, it's his last chance, is his last chance in Moto3 this season. So he really couldn't afford to miss any rounds because he obviously wants to make that step up to Moto2. And if he doesn't have a good season this season, I don't want to put a disservice to the BSB, but he's probably going to land up not back in British Superbikes, but he's probably going to land up in BSB if he doesn't have a good time this season to get a Moto2 ride.
Well, yeah, we speculated, was it last week, for the last couple of weeks, that he's either going to be maybe World Superbikes or possibly BSB, but yeah, I don't see Moto2 happening for John. He
did have a ride on a Moto2 bike last season. I think it was at Aragon. He actually, to be fair to him, he did really well on it. So, not really well, but for someone who just got on a bike that weekend, never ridden it, he did impress quite well. But he does a lot of training on an R1, so he is used to the more powerful bikes. But unfortunately, he's had this training crash that has not done him a lot of good, really. And obviously in the Moto3 Championship, it's really important to be consistent in the results, because obviously one weekend in Moto3 you could be winning and then the next weekend you could be struggling to get a point because the groups are so close together.
Yeah, he's just to remind people, if you didn't see the first race, I think he finished 5th in the first round at Qatar, and he did all right. He experience showed, and we talked about it last week on the show as well. But yeah, as you say, Jay and Luke, that's a bit of a silly accident. Well, we don't know. I don't know exactly what happened, but or do we? As he said, exactly like
a supermoto accident, I believe it was.
Okay, well. Occupational hazard, but not racing this weekend. The team though they're not replacing him, are they?
No, they're not.
It doesn't look like. It'd be nice if they could get another young British rider in, but I highly doubt they're going to do that in time. So
no,
I can't actually think of anyone who's the right age at the moment who could go into a British rider who could go in at the moment. I think they're all too young. If we think of people like Evan, I don't know if Casey's even old enough yet to go into Moto3 Grand Prix. I'm not sure. So because all the ages are changing at the moment, and I can't keep up.
Yeah, we're doing a big BSB preview next week of all the categories, all the everything. Basically, it's almost exclusively going to be BSB. And talking about BSB, the new BSB radio and trackside commentator Duncan Vincent will be on very, very shortly. He's racing to get here, I believe, from Knockhill. and he's going to be on imminently. In fact, let's bring him on right now. In fact, it seems like a good time. Hello, Duncan. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Welcome to Motorsport Radio. We were just sort of asking, what should we ask Duncan? Which is his favourite track? Is it Knockhill or Knockhill Reverse?
Can we just go back to wishing John Mcphee the best on his recovery? A good friend of mine, and I was listening to Jamie there, and I spoke with John during the week. He's obviously devastated, as you can understand. He had a solid first Grand Prix, but yeah, get well soon, John Mcphee. Can't wait to see you back on that bike. I've got to say, out of all the bikes out there, it just looks, the whole setup, the leathers, the colour scheme, I'm a big fan of it. So he's looking good. So if he's looking good, let's hope he's fast all year.
And back in time for the next race, and back fit as well. So well, thank you for joining us on the Superbike show. And for those who don't know, who aren't aware, who were wondering who the new Fred Clark is, because he's retired. Sorry to big you up, but comparisons will be made.
Bigging up Fred. You've got to big up Fred. You know, Fred for 50 years has been the voice of British bike sport. So I'm not filling Fred's shoes. I need to say it, I'm going to do it my way. But Fred was great with me last year. Took me under his wing, showed me how things work in the box. Obviously, I've been in commentary boxes a lot, but it was massive respect to Fred Clark for everything he's done. So yeah, I'm not. No way am I going to be the new Fred Clark. Although I will get a folder that goes bigger and bigger every year. So we'll see how we go.
I'm sure, yes. So I'm sure there are loads of questions as well that Jamie and Luke have as well for you. Guys, dive in with Luke. Have you got any questions?
Be nice.
First of all, summarise to the listeners about yourself and your career up to this point.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Duncan Vincent. I'm now 42 years old. Yeah, 42 years old. As you can probably tell, I'm from Scotland. I work at Knockhill Racing Circuit on a kind of full-time, part-time basis. And I have been commentating now for around about 22 years. I got dropped in the deep end one day by Gillian Shedden, who was the pit lane reporter at Knockhill and had to go away. So they didn't have anybody else to do it. So I ended up with a microphone in my hand. And it was one of the weekends I wasn't racing. So I did it. And I absolutely, like you guys, I fell in love with it. It was fabulous. I think commentary, presenting, interviewing, hosting, it's all stuff that I get a massive buzz from. So I've been a racer on 2 wheels, 3 wheels and 4 wheels. So I've got a good background in knowledge as well. But also with the Superbikes coming to Knockhill for so long, over so many years, I've managed to pick up some great friendships in that paddock. So along with the guys that run at Joe BSB, like Stuart Higgs and all his band of people, also the team bosses, team principals and riders. So I'm looking forward to 2022. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm super excited, actually. I can't wait to get going for a test in I think it's 10 days at Snetterton. But yeah, I'm a commentator. I'm just a guy who loves bike sport and car sport. So the more the merrier. Bring it on and let's see if we get going. I hope that's kind of a decent summary for you there.
Yeah, very good. I think I'll go next. Like, obviously, you've said you've been like the main man at Knockhill for so many years. Do you have a lot of experience at the other tracks and that? Have you gone to all the other BSB tracks around the country and that?
Yeah, I was very lucky. Last year, managed to tour around the BSB tracks with BSB Radio, stepping in for Paul Mazel, working with Fred, working with Larry, and in the studio. So Snetterton last year was actually like being in south of France. It was beautiful when I was down there. It was nice and warm. I really, really did like it.
Well, I live down the road from Snetterton. You don't get that very often. It's not the Gale, so. Okay,
yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I really like Thruxton as well. Thruxton's a circuit I've been to a few times, been there with the touring cars as well. So Thruxton's cool. It's just because it's so different from anything else we have, it's where I come from. Knockhill is very, very tight and narrow, a great little circuit for honing your skills. And then you go to Thruxton and it's like, wow, where's the edge of the track? So no, but I do like other circuits. I'm very lucky to have travelled around and raced at a few of them as well. So yeah, can't wait to hit the M6 in a couple of weeks' time or a couple of days' time and head into your neck of the woods. Actually, make sure the weather's make sure the weather's good for the test.
This time of year, the weather is Snetterton. I can remember I went to the test there last year, and I think with the team that I was working with, we did about 3 laps because it was still hailing and snowing. So it's a bit of a waste of time for 2 days. But Snetterton's a lovely track when it's hot, but most of the time it's blowing a gale. So yeah, and like, obviously, I'm 31 years old. I've been going to BSB race meetings all of my life, and the only voice I've ever known is Fred Clark. Has he give you any tips or anything that sticks in your head to remember?
Well, yeah, lots of things. Certain words not to say. Obviously, as every senior commentator does. I was schooled in Scotland by a chap called Gary Stagg, who I basically owe my career a great debt to. Gary picked me up and set me up. He was the guy who basically ran Not Kill Radio and Radio Not Kill for as long as I could remember. So Gary set me up on my way. But spending time with Fred last year was super valuable, and rocking around the paddock and meeting people. So yeah, I've still got a few phone calls to do to Fred. I'm going to catch up with him this coming week and just have a chat, because it's good to talk, and it's good to make friendships like that last, rather than Fred's retired, but he's by no means, he's not going to be away. He's going to still end up seeing him in a paddock and things like that. But no, Scoop's good as well. I love Larry. Larry's a northerner, as he'll tell you, from the People's Republic of Yorkshire, as you'll all know that. He's a rally man as well, and I better do a plug for him here. He's actually just got a book out just now, so it's out in bookstores maybe on Monday. So have a look for Larry's book. It's about all about racing at Croft. A lovely picture of I think it's Jim Crawford on the front of it in the car. So there you go, Scotsman.
Fantastic.
You said you had a bit of a two-wheeled background as well. What sort of bike racing did you do then, or any bike, shall I say, on the road and on track?
I started racing 400s in Scotland. I started racing. I had a beautiful little RVF 400. It's like the baby RC45. I wish I'd kept it. I really do. I wish I'd kept it. Beautiful upside down forks, and it was one of those really lovely bikes. I went from 400s to 600s, an R6, a couple of CBR 600s. Then got a first big bike was an R1, couple of R1s. Went down the R1 line. Eventually ended up on a Fireblade, which was lovely. It was the 06 Fireblade, underseat exhaust. Lovely bike. And this is all clubby stuff, raced, represented Scotland at the Celtic Match races, which was possibly the highlight of my career. I managed to beat Neil Mackenzie in one of the races that he was racing in. So we won't go into too much detail on that. I'll let Spuds tell that sometime in a bar. But yeah, so it was great fun, and then eventually kids come along, so the bikes kind of had to, take a bit of a backward step, and I finished my bike racing kind of time on a ZX6. It was actually doing some Supersport racing, which was just great fun. It was me and my friend, a local guy with a local bike shop, and we just done it for fun, and that was the biggest thing. It was great fun. It wasn't too much pressure, and we went pretty quick. Not too bad.
Well, Duncan, sorry, I had a question regarding, just staying on that theme of commentators, really. Is that, being a commentator at the level that you are now, is that something that you always wanted to do? Did you always see yourself as commentating on the action?
Absolutely. I love the racing side of things, and I also love the talking about it. So I'm very lucky, when I was racing cars, I would commentate on bikes, and when I was racing bikes, I would commentate on cars. So it worked really well. So, getting to a level, levels don't bother me that much. It's just about making sure there's good racing to commentate on. And in the BSB paddock, there is no class. Every class is strong. Every class has got big numbers. The racers are so professional. The teams are professional, and everything's great to see and great to be involved in. So it makes a commentator's job a lot easier. You're commentating on great racing. So I've always wanted to commentate on the BSB, though. I will say that when, first meeting Fred, it must have been about 15, 20 years ago I first met Fred. I was a very young boy, so always thinking, I'd love to do that eventually one day. So, I'm lucky. I get to commentate now on the BSB. I also do commentating on the British touring cars when they come to Not Kill for our round. So, yeah, it's cool stuff. I've done a bit of World Endurance Championship racing with the cars as well. They kick off their championship this weekend in Sebring. I'm not there, but I will still be part of that at the Le Mans 24 Hours this year in June. So,
that's cool.
I'm just lucky, I still get to dabble in cars and bikes, so it's pretty smart.
Yeah, we were talking about Sebring last night on the on Motorsport Radio. So it's I mean, for those who probably don't know because they've been their heads in BSB for many years and listening to Fred Clark and to a little bit of yourself over the past couple of years. Then it's all good to know. It's good to get to know you. We will get to know you over the course of the year, and be interested to know maybe bits of advice that Fred Clark, the great Fred Clark, would have maybe given you. But I'll keep that maybe to yourself for now. But
maybe mid-season we could let some of the Fred Clark gold slip out. But I'll keep that in my pocket just now and. He does keep me right. It's good fun. But if I'm about at a race meeting, please, by all means, come say hello, come and see me. I usually travel with tonics. So, if you like a caramel wafer, there's usually caramel wafers or tea cakes.
That's such a stereotype. But,
okay. Sorry. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
And whiskey. Oh, well, that's fine. Lester, you can come around any time you like to the box and grab yourself a tea cake or something.
I will.
I'll tell you one thing. You'll get a lot of cakes brought to you at BSB meetings because, especially in the support classes, because all the younger kids want to get that more mention.
I was going to mention that actually.
Brought a lot of cakes and tea.
Yeah. What's your favourite snack to receive for those people who, like Jay says, maybe want the extra mention on commentary?
Yeah.
What's it Larry likes now? Because I'll ask for those. Anything. That's what Larry likes. I was witnessing the cakes that come into the commentary box last year, and myself and Fred. What round was it now? Oulton Park, or last Oulton Park. There was 2 trays of cakes, 2 whole trays of cupcakes, and Fred says, "You better take that up the road with you. That'll keep you going on the drive." I was like, "Fred, I'm only 4 hours up the road from you. It's not far. If I have 2 of them, I'll be up all night with the sugar." But yeah, lots of cupcakes, lots of chocolate, and. Tommy Bridewell's mum, I think she brought in eggs at one point as well. There was all sorts of weird stuff flying about the commentary box. But I'm not saying don't bring it. But I'm trying to watch my figure. Trying to be nice.
It'll be all the British Talent Cup parents. They'll be bringing you the cakes in.
Jamie, if you're around, I'll make sure to keep them for you, pal. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
But that answers one question. Luke, have you got any other questions up your sleeve for Duncan?
Duncan, what are you expecting from BSB this season? Because it is a stacked grid when you look down the names that are entering it this year.
What am I expecting? I'm expecting a season not to forget. Last year was incredible. When you look at towards the end of last year, we got to that Oulton Park ground and Yamaha brought out their famous anniversary colour scheme, didn't they? Which never seems to work for them. As good as the colour scheme looks on the bike, the guys, they always have a bad weekend when they bring that out. So we watched that, and what happened? Jason had a couple of slip-offs. Taz got kind of caught up with Lee Jackson. And then Tommy Bridewell stepped up, didn't he? And Tommy Bridewell did that weekend, it was staggering. And I think a lot of us probably left Oulton Park thinking, that could be the man. Yeah. That could be the man for the championship. But... we get to Brands Hatch and then Taz goes and wins all 3 races and actually wins the championship with a race to go, which I think made Mum and Dad's life a lot easier in the pit garage. The heart rate would be down. But I think this year will be great. We've got Tom Sykes returning with PBM. That's going to be interesting. I see he was testing the bike in Misano. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to seeing if he can get on with that. We know how Scott Redding kind of adapted, so let's see, can Tom Sykes do the same thing? Leon's back as well. It's going to be cracking. And ultimately, I can't
even predict a showdown. To be honest with you,
I don't. I think it'd be silly to try and predict it at this point. Anyway, we've not seen them on track, but I do know. I do know that FSD Kawasaki will be stronger this year. Lee Jackson. I think he'll be one that we need to keep our eye on. But, Jamie, we're going to have to wait until after this first couple of tests and see where we go. Because if you do try to start to say, no, it's going to be A, B, and C, you know what's going to happen. It's going to come down to it, and those guys won't be there, and it'll be our fault for cursing them. But, yeah, it's going to be a special, special year. Stacked grid. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there.
I was going to ask you who is your pick for the championship, but there is a lot that you could say. Could probably list off 8 to 10 names for who could win it.
I think it's good to go for a dark horse. Well, it's good to choose a dark horse and then choose your obvious one. So I would say probably Haslam is probably my favourite, and then my dark horse with how testing's gone so far. I know they've only been on stock bikes, but probably Bradley Ray with how he's been going in pre-season on a stock bike.
Oh, Rich Energy OMG on Yamahas. You know, if that works, you know, everybody might just have a look and see where did Bradley Ray go. It might be a case of that. We know how fast he can be. But one of the things that really excites me about this year is we're going to have Taz with a number 1 plate. I absolutely love seeing champions carry through that number 1 plate and running it. It's, you know, Josh did it for a bit last year, but then all sorts of things happened and he changed back to 25. But to see a number 1 plate, that's something that I wish it was almost like a stipulation that if you win the championship, you must run that number 1 plate. But, you know, that's an old folklore now, isn't it? Because Valentino Rossi kind of blew that into the weeds. But let's see if he gets on. Defending champ, he had a bit of a bad, as we know, testing incident. He's on the road to recovery. I think it would be silly to rule out the champion, you know. He's done it once. Can you do back-to-back? I think another Mackenzie did that not long ago, so let's see.
Do we know the actual condition of Taran at the moment? Where's he up to with his recovery?
Stable. I don't actually know. I haven't spoke to Taz. I got a text from him during the week, but he seems to be. He's walking again. I do know that, so he will be training again. Did I see him on a push bike? I might have saw him on a push bike actually. Yeah. So fair enough. Who knows? I'll find out next weekend.
Yeah, well, we're expecting him to be at the test anyway at Snetterton. Yeah. So the test, which is open to the public.
Is that? Yes, it's a two. Well, there's 3 days in total, but the first day is no public, and the weekend is open to the public. So you can check out Snetterton's website for that. And let's get some BSB bikes back on the track, and obviously the sport classes to go as well. And yeah, let's make sure, Jamie, that the weather's tip-top, please.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, No snow.
No snow. No, God. That's up here. That's where we get the snow. We'll keep the snow if you get the sunshine for us.
We've got really dirty, I don't know if it's the rest of you, but we've got really dirty rain today, if that makes any sense, like sandy rain.
Yeah, I was watching the news. It was from the Sahara and the wind blew in and it was yada yada. And they explained it. They had a fancy graphic to say that's why you've got dirty rain.
Yada yada. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what they said. Literally, yada yada. But excellent. Duncan, I'm interested to see, because there's been a lot of talk about BSB commentators overall, especially with I suppose jointly with who would replace Fred Clark, with him retiring, and also Eurosport coverage as well. There's been no announcement on that yet. It is kind of an open secret who it probably is going to be, but it's not been announced yet, so we'll have to wait and see if it is that person. But we're glad that at least you're confirmed.
That was kind of cryptic, wasn't it?
Well, again, I mean, I almost blew the whole thing a few weeks ago, not really realising that it was like, you know, because it was just an open secret. We all sort of know who, you know, but anyway. No.
I think if you're maybe in the know, you know who is going to be, and he's a thoroughly nice guy. So that's all I'll say. Thoroughly nice guy.
Well, we've speculated about it, and the internet knows and stuff. So as I said, open secret. But let's just see them confirmed, and quickly as well. So a brand new sound to British Superbikes this season. Whether you're at the track listening on TSL or on the app or trackside at the radio. And also the BSB television coverage for BSB. It should be a I don't know what's the word for it. A riveting season. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good fun. It'll be fresh because it will sound different, and that's part of our plan as well. BSB Radio is just to try and make it a bit more, fresh. There you go. This cracking word. I've used it twice in the one sentence now. So fresh. It will be fresh. There's 3, 4.
Okay, excellent. Duncan, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll bump into each other in terms of me mithering you for a few words at tracks and stuff while you're busy. And you're more than welcome to come back on the Superbike show to let us know your take on how the title clash is going and that sort of stuff, and just updating us on your progress as well, and some other non-BSB things as well, car racing. So.
I would love to. I'd love to come back, guys. Thank you very much for having me on tonight. It's been good fun. I can't wait to get going, and I just need to say thank you very much to everybody for all the very nice comments on social media. Obviously, when this was going to get announced, I was worried about what it would go down like. You hope it will be positive, but I was completely blown away. I've never had a reaction or any kind of interaction like that on social media before, so it was lovely. So thank you very much, everybody. Can't wait to see you all trackside or stand and see the speaker or come and see us in the pits, the paddock, and say hello. And for you guys as well, keep up the great work. It really is great Motorsport Radio. I think you guys do a great job. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, there'll be plenty of cakes in the commentary box for you, Jamie, if you're hanging around.
I'll see you at Snetterton.
Yeah,
I'll keep some for Luke as well.
I'll make sure I find my way up just to help you with those cakes. Anyway, thank you very much, Duncan. We'll let you get on with your evening, and thank you for coming on Motorsport Radio this evening. Thank you very much.
Cheers,
thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
This is Motorsport Radio.
Awesome, right?
The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Yeah, fantastic to have Duncan with us on the show here on Motorsport Radio. And, Jay, what a thoroughly nice guy. And, he had nothing to worry about when the announcement came out, did he?
No, what a top bloke, really. And I would definitely feel a little bit nervous trying to take over from Fred Clark, but he seems to be taking it all in his stride. Like he said, he can put his new twist on things. He doesn't have to try and copy Fred. It can be all fresh and start again, can it?
Exactly, a brand new sound for BSB, Luke, and on TV and radio, like we say. And BSB this year, it'll sound, I'm going to say it again, just as Duncan did, it'll sound fresh.
Yeah, taking the word that I was going to use as well, exactly like Duncan said. It will just be a new, fresh sound to BSB this season, which is something that fans should look forward to.
Exactly. And Jay, will you actually be at Snetterton for the test?
Yeah, I'm going to try and go down. What is it, Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday. There'll be.
Yeah, I will go down there on Sunday. I'm sure I can get a ticket off someone. So, yeah, I'll go down there Sunday, and you never know, I might bump into him and say hello in face-to-face.
Yeah, well, I'll be there on both days, and, yeah, that's it.
Seems it's only down the road, I might as well go, so...
Yeah, it's only 5 hours for me, whatever.
Yeah, that's 5 hours, though.
Yeah, exactly. Snetterton test is just next. Not this weekend, next weekend, on the Saturday and Sunday. Tickets, I don't even know how much they are. I'm not going to say they're free, because they're probably not. That probably should have. Did we ask him that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. To the MSV website, to go and find all the great value tickets, which we talked about a few weeks ago. Or maybe if you're a season pass holder, you can just stroll in. Yeah. And be like, yo, here's my pass. Get out my way, security.
I thought about getting that for Dad for Christmas, but I never did in the end, because he just lands up getting free tickets from everyone else anyways.
Like you. So,
yeah.
Anyway, fantastic to have Duncan on the show with us on the Superbike show, which continues right now. And big hello, by the way. We've had some comments in which I've neglected to read out, but I mean, there was... I couldn't see any particular questions for Duncan. But a big hello to everybody who is tuned in, either on Facebook, on Twitter. Hello to Andy Hopley, who was on Motorsport Radio last night. Duncan Vincent's been on touch saying, thanks, guys. And Kim Hollings has been on as well. And Liz King has said £12.
That's my mum. Just ignore everything she says.
Oh, is that for the ticket for the thing? I'm guessing that's what that.
Oh, it's £12 to get in. Well done, Mum.
Oh yeah, well done. Yeah, no, ignore everything she says. Yeah. Anyway.
She must be going. She hasn't told me yet.
Oh well, that's where you're getting your free ticket from. She's actually buying them for you. Anyway, moving on from BSB and domestic matters, because there's the small matter of MotoGP this weekend, Luke.
Yeah, there is. MotoGP over in Indonesia for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
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 It's 500 days the last time they were there, from what I've seen on MotoGP's Facebook today. They've been putting highlights up of old races and that. So
I think it's 1997, I guess, the last time they went there. So
Kiko, I mean, if he was here, he'd know all about it. He'd know the top three, he'd know everything. He was quickest in practice in 97 and everything. So he's like an oracle. But anyway.
It's going to be a clean sheet, isn't it, really? Because no one's ever raced there before, so we can't even really... Obviously, they did their test there, but we have got no predictions of what everyone's going to be like in like, shall we say, race distance or anything like that. So I haven't got anything to predict, really, or what we can say what's going to happen.
Well, that's a shame, because I'm going to ask you your predictions later on. But whatever you do, caution when Luke makes his predictions, because he absolutely screwed me over last time. I went ahead and put a bet on Bagnaia to absolutely sweep the board. He's obviously going to win. He's already won the championship. Out he crashed.
He lands up crashing and taking someone else up.
Yep.
I'm going to big myself up here, though. I did put Bastianini in my dream team, so I was well happy with that.
He was in mine as well.
Okay, interesting. One thing I wanted to ask before we get onto the actual racing, I put out a question on the social medias earlier, something that's been widely talked about since Monday. MotoGP Unlimited, the documentary that for many people, including journalists, every single website on the planet, apart from ours, and lots of fans all called it and compared it to Drive to Survive, which I don't know if that probably affected their original opinion of it by that comparison. But anyway, it was released on Monday, a behind-the-scenes look at the 2021 MotoGP Championship from a point of view that we don't get to see usually on the TV. It's, behind the closed doors. If you've not seen any of the episodes, it's available on Amazon in most countries. Yeah, it was immediately, for some, I didn't understand this reaction, to be honest, guys. I can understand it, but I didn't understand the level of hysteria because it was recorded and some parts of the documentary are not in English. So as a documentary maker, what do you do if you made a documentary and like half of it's in Spanish and Italian? You're going to have to find a way around that for your English-speaking audience, aren't you? Yeah. So anyway, Amazon decided it would be good to dub those non-English speaking parts. I watched the first 4 episodes on Monday morning at like 4 a.m. because I'd stayed up all night, and it was not for that, but it was just up. So from my point of view, I mean, I wasn't particularly looking forward to it, no offense, but it was just a thing that I knew was coming out. And when I went on Amazon, it was there on the front page, on the home page. And I thought, oh, that's the thing. I wrote, it reminded me because, I didn't even know it was out that day. So I clicked on it, watched the first 4 episodes. And I wasn't even slightly bothered by the slightly dodgy dubbing. It literally translated the stuff that I wouldn't have known into English. And if it was in just writing, what do you call them? Subtitles. I wouldn't have watched it. I would have thought, can't be bothered with this. So, I'm one of the very few people, it seems, that actually didn't mind the dubbing. Yes, there were some slightly dodgy edits, and maybe the voiceover voice didn't match the original speaker's voice. But the level of hysteria that some MotoGP freelance journalists talked about it. Oh, it's destroying MotoGP. Is the brand ruined? Asks a few people. I won't name names because they know what they did. I think that level of heat and hysteria added to everybody else's or influenced a lot of other negativity from other people, and then everyone piled on and thought, oh, this is absolute crap. I'm not listening to something in English. How dare you? That's all. Anyway, I could go on a big rant.
That was a nice little rant there, Lester.
Thank you. But I just didn't understand.
To say now.
The actual documentary was pretty good. I've only seen the first 4 episodes. I'm going to watch the other 4 later. It's a total of 8. But, I mean, I read some of the comments on the Amazon. Oh, this is badly dubbed. This is hysterical. This is terrible and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the actual content. I mean, okay, so some people didn't like the dubbing. Fine, okay. But the actual documentary, it didn't portray anything that wasn't already happening. It didn't skew a perspective. It wasn't like Drive to Survive. Oh, and by the way, with everybody calling it Drive to Survive, every website on the planet, not ours, and every journalist... and every single media outlet calling it Drive to Survive. Do you know who didn't ever compare it to Drive to Survive? Do you know who didn't ever say Drive to Survive? Amazon, MotoGP, Dorna, all the production company who made it. They never, ever, ever said those words. And you can check, because I did, on the Monday morning when I had a few hours, because I was bored, and I was raging. I thought, this is actually not bad. It's not a bad documentary. Anyway, so I didn't quite understand why everybody started running and expecting it and comparing it to being Formula One's Drive to Survive when they never intended it publicly to be. I
wouldn't want to compare it to Drive to whatever it is, Drive to Survive anyway, because MotoGP is an entertainment sport and Formula One isn't. So why would I compare it?
Yes. Well, anyway. Everybody, the fact is, I think everyone was just building it up. I mean, the documentary, I don't think, and again, a reason why I thought it was pretty good is because I knew straight away it wasn't probably intended for the hardcore MotoGP English-speaking audience. It was for maybe the casual viewer, the people who...
They want to get more people involved in they want to get that person from the outside.
Exactly.
Looking in, basically.
People who wouldn't really mind having slightly iffy dubbed behind the scenes look at, Valentino's last season in MotoGP, or listening to a rider apologise to his team and grovelling about how he threw it in his bike at the wall in a race. That sort of stuff is the content of the show, and I've heard people say now that they've seen those episodes without that dubbed audio in it, suddenly the documentary's a lot better. Well, guess what? It was still the same documentary, guys.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed.
Yeah. I watch it, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I need to renew my Amazon account. So, but I'll be watching it, and I'm sure I will enjoy it. So at the end of the day, if coming back from Spain, I had to watch them Spanish TV while I was in my hotel room, and they have to listen to it that way. I mean, it's not like
in English
when they make it. No, they have to do it the other way. So, like a film that is made in English, they have to put Spanish people speaking over it.
All the rest of the world.
I actually said to the miss. So does Mark seen in it? I have to learn. Clearly, he doesn't. They just put some voices over the top of it, don't they?
Well, I think most of what you said, you were breaking up then. Maybe we should have got you dubbed. But yeah. You make a great point, Jay, for once, unusually.
No, thank you.
Even in Spain, and other countries, just because we're used to having things in pristine English, there was one MotoGP elitist journalist who was decrying the fact that we couldn't necessarily hear riders talking in their mother tongue. We had to, for a few hours, listen to a badly dubbed voiceover. Well, by their very definition and nature, dubbed programs are never perfect, because it's always like a second-hand version of and then never, so it's, yeah, but anyway.
Like you said, if it was subtitles, I probably would have got fed up and probably would have turned off, because
another reason
I'm not here to read in lesson, am I? I'm here to watch a documentary.
Exactly. So, I mean, I get that some people, they like to listen to that and read it and be fully, but there's people saying what you're saying about me on my phone. But yeah, another reason why I was a little aggrieved is because at the time when those journalists who influenced so many other people's opinion of the documentary, and I am going to stand up for Dorna and the documentary makers, because it seemed like an initial distribution issue, or an issue whereby on the Monday and I think Tuesday afternoon, you couldn't necessarily select from English into its original thing. But those journalists knew that when they published their diatribe article, because they included it at the very bottom of the thing. Oh, well, we understand, or we've bbeen told, or insiders say, because that's they always like to say, oh, I've got someone on the inside here at Amazon. They'd probably just chatbox Amazon or something and ask them, when will this not be in English? Because I'm dying to watch this so I can complain about it not being in English. Or something like that, I'd imagine is what they say. But yeah, they actually knew that any technical problems they were complaining about were being fixed, but they still went ahead and slagged it off and complained about it anyway. Don't even know how they still got past, to be honest. Anyway, sorry, rant over.
I think you should produce season 2 of the new MotoGP documentary, Lester.
What? After all the BS? No, I don't think so.
Dorna will be calling you up at the end of next season, I reckon.
Probably not, but no, I mean, whatever.
If they do, just remember me, or I'll just remember me.
Remember to avoid you. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just kidding. No, we already do a bit of filming for Dorna and MSVR as well, so. And it's all in English as well, the Honda British Talent Cup. So unless there's some non-English speak. That's a good point, actually. What will we do if someone turns up in the British Talent Cup and doesn't decide to speak English? Maybe I'll have to dub it over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could do.
Anyway, that besides the point. Do let me know your thoughts. Do you disagree with my little rant that had it's nice to have a rant and get things off your chest. It wasn't that bad, guys. Get over it. And I hear that the Amazon rating of the program has now gone up ever since that allegedly horrific, badly dubbed.
So forgetting all about this English and over Spanish talking and that, was the actual documentary good?
The actual thing.
You forget all about that.
Yeah, the actual documentary, which I enjoyed, and it didn't. The voiceover didn't distract from my enjoyment of the documentary, which was well produced. It gave me a good insight into what went on behind the scenes, which I didn't necessarily know. I knew there was stories and things happening here and there, but you get to see there was an interesting chat with Razlan Razali talking about his opinions on Valentino Rossi, and I think it was that anyway. It was early in the morning, and you got a real, literally no holds barred behind the scenes. You got to see Marquez, how he was really struggling. We knew he was struggling coming back last year, but I mean, you could really, really see the worry when it was almost like. If he was saying it, I'm not sure I could do this anymore. Still compete at that, and you got to really sort of see that for the first time, rather than people like us speculating about it. And you got a whole load of back scene stuff that normal fans and non-journalist people who aren't lucky enough to be there don't usually get to see. So for that reason, and the fact it was just a good documentary, I thought it was really good.
I look forward to watching it, and I'll give you my feedback on next week's show. So I have to.
You'll be complaining that it's full of subtitles and everything. That's what you'll be complaining. Luke, have you seen any of it yet?
I haven't. I don't have an Amazon Prime subscription, so I haven't seen it. Might find it on the internet somewhere, maybe.
Dodgy channels.
Yeah, probably. But from what I'd heard, people were kicking off that there wasn't any subtitles. Personally, I don't like watching dubbed things. I prefer the subtitles. So I sort of see from a personal point where they came from, but there didn't need to be all the uproar that there was. Amazon announced that they were going to fix it. They have fixed it. Sort of move on. It's fine. It just took an extra day and a half, whatever it was, to get the subtitles there.
Yeah, exactly. And as I've said, it was already a good documentary. And
just don't watch it for the day and a half while it's dubbed. It wasn't. You didn't need to watch it straight away. Do you know what I mean?
And what I don't get as well is, if I'm a MotoGP journalist, it's surely in my interest to want to give them the benefit of the doubt, see the good side of things, maybe even as far as promoting the sport for the benefit of the wider motorsport community. Because ultimately, if you're not slagging the sport off and dragging it down into the gutter, then presumably the industry grows and you stay in a job. But that's not what a handful of journalists did, unfortunately.
It's the first series that they've done this for as well. There's going to be mistakes along the way.
Exactly.
So,
I mean,
it's not going to be perfect straight away. And,
I hear that Drive to Survive's latest series isn't great, I'm told.
It isn't.
I've not seen it, so I don't know. But, nothing's ever perfect. And like you say, it's the first time that they've actually tried it. So, yeah.
It's a good idea, really, to try and get new fans in.
God forbid.
Only the hardcore are allowed to watch MotoGP.
Only the hardcore dinosaurs that still exist on some blogs. I won't name any names, but there's only 3 of them. But yeah, anyway, on to the actual racing itself this weekend, documentary aside. What are we expecting, Luke?
Well, it really isn't unknown, like Jay said earlier, because the only people that have been there are World Superbikes, and it just rained the whole weekend that they were there, so we can't really take anything from that either. And the testing at Indonesia just wasn't really great either, because they've resurfaced a part of the track, I'm not sure which bit. So, I mean, Espargaro looked good there. That's the only rider I can see, so don't put a bet on him, because now I've said this. He will have an awful weekend, probably crash. Sorry, Paul. But he top tested there, so that's pretty much all I can take from that. And the times, it's a new circuit for all of them, so they're all going to be getting quicker and quicker throughout the weekend. It just depends who adapts to this new circuit the quickest.
Jay, who might take advantage early on?
I think he was probably the best rider last weekend, even though he didn't win, was Brad Bin. I don't think anyone saw him come second. And to me, he just seems like a person who can learn a track extremely quickly. So for some reason, I've got good feelings Brad Bin. After last weekend, which you guys were on the show last week, I was probably like you guys and thought the Ducatis are going to clear up this season. But I'm now starting to think, with having 8 bikes on the grids, and obviously they're kind of in charge of the electric bike championship now, are they kind of, what's the word, we're trying to stretch a bit too, like they're trying to do too much. And I think obviously, what do you call winning? I forgot his name, mine's gone blank.
Bastianini.
Bastianini, winning the race. That was on the oldest Ducati, so obviously that bike was set, ready to go. But all the new Ducatis really struggled, and from what I've heard, they were trying new bits in the final FP3 or 4, and Pecco was a bit unhappy that they were trying new bits so late on at the weekend. So I'm not as confident with the Ducatis. Obviously, you would have thought they'd get it sorted, but maybe they stretched their team a bit too far by having too many bikes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because it was the quote from Pecco that I'm here to win, not test, which really sort of hit home what Ducati were doing with a factory team, and maybe what caused Miller to have his electronics fault as well. So. Yeah,
maybe they're trying to do too many things at once, and it just showed like how the old bike just. It was better than all the Pramac bikes, all of the 2 factory bikes. He won. I wouldn't say it was a comfortable win, but compared to the other Ducatis, he did really well. And Jack Miller, but I'm a bit worried for him, especially obviously Bastianini's getting top of that list for next year's ride now. Yeah, early stages, very early stages. Yeah.
Jay, what do you make of the incident where we found out after when Miller retired that it was what was it again? The bike had got lost.
The ECU. Yeah, the bike got completely lost.
It's now the case, and I didn't really
working.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put too much thought into it at the time. I just thought, well, okay, technical problem, ECU, yada yada, but. The more I think about it since then, I'm thinking, well, surely that's not right. You shouldn't have a computer automatically, effectively driving itself around the circuit, and you're just sat on it.
Yeah, it's getting a bit Formula One now, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. To be fair, like just going away from the mechanical fault, Jack looked really, to what I could see, he looked stressed all weekend. Maybe a bit of the pressure he's getting to him. You do get a lot of people asking him, saying, well, like, you've got other people pushing for your ride next season. Are you going to be there? And personally, if that was me, that wouldn't sit well with me. I want to try and get on with my job and just go, right, you got people constantly asking you, are you going to be at Ducati next year? And see why he's getting so stressed. Like I said, I'm probably Jack Miller's probably my favourite rider in MotoGP at the moment. And
it's you then. It's you putting pressure on him.
Maybe I want to see him have some good results, because he's like one of the last top guys person in MotoGP now, if you know what I mean. He will have a drink on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh yeah, personalised.
That's what he's got.
He has got character, yeah, certainly. And it was interesting behind the scenes in the MotoGP Unlimited documentary.
Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, spoilers.
Watching it and watching him go through that process of just being actually a normal rider. He's not always the outgoing. Certainly when he's had a crash and he's apologising to the team. You see that complete different side. He's of him sort of just feeling down and really sort of grovelling and apologising to the lads in the team. So it was but from what I could make out, I couldn't understand it. It was all in English.
I mean, Jack had a shocker of testing as well. So sort of come into the season, that's probably why the media have put so much onto him, because Martins was coming good last season. Now there's Bastianini as well. So maybe there is a little bit on Miller's mind of, I might lose my factory seat.
It can't be nice, can it?
No. I wouldn't want to be in his situation out of any of the riders on the grid currently.
I wouldn't say it's as bad, but kind of like Petrucci in his second year with Ducati, where it just like second year, he had a good first year, Petrucci, with the Ducati factory team, and then second year he kind of just, even though he did have a win at Le Mans in the wet, the rest of the season was like pretty quiet, and hopefully that doesn't happen with Jack, but we'll see. Like I said, we've only had one race so far. We might be thinking way too much into this, and Ducati are up their game and the bikes will be brilliant next round, but at the moment I think 8 bikes on the grid and trying to look after all that, and like I said, they were testing things till the last minute. Maybe they've spread it a bit out too much, really.
I mean, moving on from Miller and Ducati as well, someone who has done well at new circuits when they've been introduced is Marc Marquez. So he's coming back to full fitness now. Could he be a dark horse for this weekend, potentially, really?
Yeah, I think the 5th place at Qatar weren't actually that bad, really. He doesn't normally do well there. He's normally on the podium there. But I thought a 5th was a good result, and I think he would have taken that going into it. I think it was quite surprising to see how well Pole did, even though he has been going well in testing. I think that will annoy Marquez a bit, having his teammate beating him. But Marquez, he will be up the front. If he stays on or not, it'll be another thing. But he'll be up the front at some point in the race. Like, you never not see Marquez at the front. So.
Yeah, Luke, did you just call him a dark horse, Marc Marquez?
For this, I mean, yeah, I guess, because some people have been talking him up into the season, but then a lot of people have also been saying, especially before pre-season testing and before Qatar, saying that he wouldn't reach the same heights. But I think it's clear from Qatar that a not 100% Marc Marquez can still compete. So what could a 100% Marc Marquez do when he gets his limit on this new Honda that they've brought as well?
I think we're going to see a different sort of Marquez now, from like the Marquez we saw before, where it would literally be, I'm going to win or I'm going to crash. I think he's going to think, all right, today we only can get 5th place, let's take 5th place. Where an old Marquez would still, in his head, would just think, no, we're going to win, even if even if I don't think the bike can do it. So I think it's going to be, he will go for the win if he thinks he can do it. But I think it's doubt in his mind now. All right, 3rd, 2nd, that'll do. So
I don't think we'll see the big crash Marc Marquez anymore either. I think he will try and he will try and he's going to have a massive crash this weekend, and it will be my fault. I think he's going to try and reel himself in a little bit, but he has got to find the limit because he's relied on the front end of that Honda, and now he doesn't have the weight there. So he'll take his time with it. But 5th place was good in Qatar, and I do think he could do well this weekend.
And then we need to talk about something that has really gone wrong, and that is Yamaha, how they are so slow now, and what Quartararo is going to do. Obviously, this track's not going to be such a big problem as what Qatar is, because we haven't got the big straights, but it's still going to be, can he do it or not? It'll be interesting to see.
Will he lose his head as well, like he did in 2020 when everything started going wrong?
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch the Yamahas.
Yeah, they've clearly not got the top speed of the V4s or Suzuki, who are all spinning line 4 engine. They've just found how many horsepower? They found like a load of speed out of nowhere.
Yeah, in free practice, they were passing the Ducatis down the straights.
Yeah,
I was a bit disappointed with the Suzukis, really, because I thought, well, they're going to do brilliant in the race. And all right, what was it, 6th and 7th? Not too bad. I was expecting a lot better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I said it last week that Mir will be happy that it was only Marquez out of the real championship favourites in front of him at Qatar. So the Suzukis could go well this weekend. I mean, all of them could. It could. Yeah,
well, we've not got a clue, have we? We have not got a clue.
Espargaro could win this weekend. Anything could happen. It's a new track. None of us know.
I think I'm going to stick to my guns in doing it. We're not doing official predictions just yet, but I said that Marc Marquez might win, or no, I think, what did I say before the first? I think Quartararo would win. I think I said that. He won't win this weekend. I do think Marc Marquez will take the victory. You heard it here first. So
Marquez, like I said, new tracks, it doesn't faze him. So maybe a Honda one too. We never know. But I'm going to go. Maybe not a win, but definitely another podium for Brad Binder.
Another podium for Binder. Interesting. Okay. Your thoughts, Luke?
Pardon?
Your thoughts?
I'm going to go Paul Espargaro. I think he'll be gutted after Qatar, and he was quick at Mandalika and testing. So sticking with Paul. Sorry, Paul.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, sorry, Paul, for jinxing you there. No, you might be right. You might be right. Check out next week. Check out next week's. She posted it, not me. Anna Carrasco has been posting, enjoying herself in the sun, and oh dear. We're just having a flick through Twitter. Sergio Garcia has already been in the sun, it seems. Already track walks and stuff going on in the old. What's the full circuit title called? Do we know? Do I know? I don't know.
I know Mandalika.
We'll just call it that.
Yeah. I saw Frankie Carcetti, Joan Mir's crew chief, tweeted today that the track temperature was 67 degrees Celsius. So
yeah,
I think that was a new record.
A couple of riders getting a bit burnt, I think, on their track walks, going out in the ill-fated shorts and shirt combo. I think, but I mean, if I was there as a Brit, I'd be long sleeve shirt, jeans, everything proper wrapped up, socks, all anyway, we didn't get to talking about your trip in Spain quite yet, Jay. We will, I promise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it wasn't quite that degrees, I'll tell you that.
Shall we move on and talk a little bit about Moto 2 and Moto 3, or maybe a lot about Moto 2 and Moto 3? Where should we start, Luke? I don't know. I don't know. What are the big talking points coming in? It's all a bit quiet, really. There's no dramas or controversies, are there? Apart from John Mcphee, but
I think the main thing to look at this weekend is probably, again, we don't know who's going to do well. Moto 2 haven't tested there, but off the form from Qatar, Celestino Vietti and Aaron Canet are the two to watch this weekend after Celestino Vietti walked away from everyone and Canet wasn't really too far behind. So those two are going to be the two to watch, definitely, with their confidence high after Qatar.
Your thoughts on that, Jay?
I wouldn't say I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but I think everyone thought Pedro Acosta was going to do really well. Maybe we were all like a bit expecting a bit too much, because everyone was like, oh, he's going to win the championship this year, and obviously come straight into Moto2 is really difficult. I think he came 12th place, but I think he ran on at the first lap or something like that. So obviously this is going to be a new, once again, like we're saying again, it's going to be a new track for everyone. So maybe he hasn't got such of a disadvantage here, because obviously everyone's got to learn it. So yeah, I hope maybe we'll see Pedro Costa do a bit better this weekend as well. And maybe also,
go on.
Also I know it's now their second season, but maybe a few of the American lads as well, because they're all going to be on a fresh slate with everyone else. They haven't got to learn the track, so maybe a good result for Cameron Beauvier. I do like Cameron Beauvier, so maybe a good result for him as well.
Maybe Joe Roberts as well. So a bit of a unexpectedly slow Qatar since he was pole there a couple of years back. He hasn't really done a lot.
I think he's had one podium since then, hasn't he? So
yeah, he's not really been setting
and we haven't mentioned Jake either, so see how he gets on as well. Obviously, he did very well in the practice at Qatar until he had a bit of an off, didn't he? And I forgot where he came in the race. Was it?
I think he was 11th.
Yeah, just in front of Pedro Acosta.
Yeah,
I like how in all this, like they did this, like going around the streets, and the Suzuki boys got given 125s, or all the rest are on thousands. Yeah, that was a bit weird.
That was weird. But,
so
I saw Pecco ran away from security to try and meet the fans, which they probably weren't too happy about since.
So it's a bit odd how they all got Superbikes, and then the Suzuki's got 125.
None of the KTM lot were there as well, because they don't have a Superbike.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so they had nothing.
I saw was enjoying himself.
Oh, where's Jay? Is he gone?
Someone says, is Jay gone?
He high-sided off the show. Oh, he's back.
Is he?
I don't know. Is someone streaming something on your internet, Jay? I don't know. Oh, you're back now anyway. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now then?
I can.
Yes, sweet. So, yeah, it'd be good to see how Jake does. Hopefully he can take his practice good form into a race. It'd be nice, because I think Jake's the sort of person where if he has one good race, then that will boost his confidence a lot.
Yeah. And talking about Moto3, Sam Lowes, can he, one presumes he's only going to be a little bit better with that hand. Is it going to translate to a bit better on track?
I think, even with his tendonitis issue, he did really well at Qatar to make his way through the whole race, and did get a bit of a lucky podium, but a podium's a podium, especially with the injury he's got, so he should be feeling better. He's had a couple of weeks rest, so we could get another podium from Sam. Potentially a win.
That would be good, wouldn't it, Jay?
It would be. From what I've been told, I don't want to make it sound really doom and gloom, but what I've been told, he needs an operation, but now they're in the season, there's never going to be that time to have the operation and the healing. So I'm just hoping that the pain will stay at a level that can keep him competitive and doesn't get any worse. So just all the best, really. But yeah, I think his brothers had to have the same operation. So yeah, just hopefully it'll be all good.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
What do we think about the Vision Track team? They did really, really, really well just to get an operation up and running in such a short space of time, just a few months, really. So we said on the show previously that it was a huge achievement just to get everybody and everything on track together there, racing. And, Josh Watley, as I mentioned on the show previously, actually finished the race, albeit not in the position he would have wanted. But, when you look at the stats, they will show Josh Watley finished that race. And, so Scott Ogden was doing really well as well. So,
I think if Scott had stayed on, he could have possibly got in the points. I think it was those guys who were starting at the back who got penalties to start at the back. He tried to go with them guys when they came through and sadly pushed a bit too hard and had a tumble. But I think Scott probably would have maybe got some points at Qatar, which would have been a really good start to the season if he had got some points in his first race. But there's going to be an advantage for these boys because obviously they're learning 80% of the tracks apart from the ones that are in Spain. So obviously it's going to be a clean sheet for everyone. So it'll be good to see how they get on this weekend.
Yeah, I think Scott was behind for Gia. I think at the time when he crashed, so he probably was pushing a bit too hard in his rookie Moto3 race. But it'll be good, even if he got a couple of laps behind Dennis, to just learn from that, and he'll learn from that experience as well. So, especially Josh finishing was a good achievement in his first Moto3 race. So, the team look good. The team do look like they could fight for points this season and hopefully make their way up towards the top 10 potentially towards the end of the year. The tracks they know. So.
Even like, I know we're thinking way too far in the head in the future, but there's a lot of talent at the moment after Josh and Scott, and I'm not writing them two off at all because they're both talented riders. But after that, there's a lot, and if they can keep the Track Vision team going, I think it could be very successful.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like you mentioned as well, Jay, the potential for maybe other British young riders to. I mean, maybe mid-season or something, do a wild card maybe at Silverstone, who knows? So
obviously we've got Casey, who is in Red Bull Rookies, and I think he's doing the Spanish CV this year. So that'd be interesting to see how he gets on in the Red Bull Rookies. I've been to a few winter rounds with him. Well, not with him, but I've seen him at winter rounds and just training on like pit bikes and KTMs and that. He looks unbelievable. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on at Red Bull Rookies. And obviously we got Eddie O'Shea, who's doing his second season in that as well. So I think there's a lot to feel promising about for the future for English riders. And I think also Johnny Garness in British Talent Cup is a bright future as well.
Yeah, and British Talent Cup's first official session of the season will be the test at BSB next weekend, 25th and 26th, or 26th and 27th. Anyway, next weekend at Snetterton. They'll be doing 2 days of testing. I think they'll be sharing the sessions with the Junior Supersport category as well. Yeah. So if you're there, you're seeing, I don't know, maybe about 50 different bikes. Just because there's two classes all in the same thing, that would be why. And I'll be trying to film the correct bikes. So anyway, yeah, no, like you say, seems like a bit of a golden period that we're in terms of British talent coming through, maybe onto a world stage. We've got so many, and it's I'm going to say it's all down to the vision that Dorna had to create that ladder, which they didn't have to do, of all these talent cups all around the world, and the junior talent teams as well in the GP, which is proving a huge success.
Yeah, we've just got to get my head all around these age changes now. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of a delay till some of them come now. So.
Yeah, I think Casey may have been caught at a bad time potentially, because what's he, 16 at the moment? Is he?
I think it might be younger than that. I think Leicester would probably be the best one to know.
I think he's at least 15. I'm not sure. Or he was 15.
I think the rules are going up to they have to be 18 to race in Moto3, so he may have just been hit at a very bad time But Josh Watley could get in this year because the rules don't change till the start of next season. So
it's all confusing at the moment. Until it all catches up and levels out again, I'm a bit lost, but
yeah,
I'm sure all the parents understand. That's the main thing.
Yeah, there will be a generation though which has been hit, could have just made the step and have now going to have to wait a couple more years, which could do that. But
I'd love to see someone explain how riders will have more racecraft and experience later on in life than they would if they entered, say, Moto3 at say 15 versus 18. with almost no experience, if that makes sense. I mean,
so
how much
you're basically saying that, like, they still have to do that. They've just got to spend longer, but you've got to wait longer now. Like, say, get off an Ovale or a Metric Kit 70, and you've got to spend longer on that now before you can jump up. Where people would do 1 year on a 50, 1 year on a 70, then go straight to a British Talent Cup bike. Now they're probably going to have to do about 3 years on a 70 or an Ovale before they have that time to go up to the next one.
And people watching BSB for the past couple of years, when the Talent Cup has been on, or people at the track at a BSB event, will know that some of the British Talent Cup riders are just as disciplined, more so than some of the BSB riders at their very young ages, 12, 13, 14, up to 18, I think. But the potential for riders to learn with the best other riders at the best circuits on the best, biggest bikes will be no longer available to them from next year. In Talent Cup, the age limit begins from 14. It is currently 13 this year. It was previously 12. So, yeah.
I do think the age thing is a bit of a good thing. I think a 12-year-old racing a bike, even a standard Moto3 at 120 miles an hour, if you said that to just an everyday parent from outside the biking world, they would say that as classed as child cruelty, probably. So, I think it is a good thing, but we have to remember, like, especially me and Leicester, we see them come through Fab on 70s and things like that. They're all ready. They understand the speed and things like that. So, yeah, it's hard to say, really. But obviously,
how world class are you going to be? No offence to what I'm about to say to people involved, but how world class and how ready are you going to be to make that step into the GP paddock at 18 if you're racing around at club level at Bemsey or Thundersport or no limits or anything like that? It's completely different.
I suppose again, that's just staying in England. That's not really going abroad, but at least you're getting experience of the English tracks ready to go, really, I suppose. Yeah. But it is hard to say, really. But they had to be seen to making changes because obviously we had a few unfortunate incidents last year, so there had to be a change made.
In England, we didn't.
No, but it has to go through all the way through the system, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, because even the CEV Championship has got new age limits. I think the 1 year allowance for the champion of Red Bull rookies and CEV Championship stands, so there can be 17 when they move up. But yeah, I get why they've done it, and it makes sense why they've done it. But we'll see if they have got more racecraft when they move up after a few years of it.
I said at the time when it was originally announced that a lot of the people who were the most vocal about wanting something to be done, again, those same journalists I was mentioning earlier, they would not have enjoyed seeing their favourite riders who they love now potentially at that same level, because if this rule was in place when Rossi came in, well, he just wouldn't he wouldn't have, a lot of the riders today wouldn't be where they are necessarily if they'd had to have started at GP level much later. So it's just an interesting thing to note. That's all. Anyway, that aside, should we move on and talk about more on-track racing? Because as we mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, Tom Sykes was out in Misano testing. He got. I almost saved the picture to show you, but I didn't, so I won't. He was out on the. Well, anyway, but he was there with. Was he on the track at the same time as some of the other World Superbike guys?
I imagine he was, because on the World Superbike time and screen there was some unnamed riders on there, so I imagine he was probably one of the ones on there. But obviously I can't tell which one he was because they were just numbers and letters jumbled together. So
good old timing. But yeah, there's been some World Superbike testing at Misano, and Luke, you've been trying to keep your eye on some of it.
I've been trying to, yeah. So Ducati, BMW, and the satellite Yamaha and Kawasaki riders are in Misano. Bautista is back on the Ducati and topped the first day at Misano, which looks promising since he was a championship contender when he was last with them, but things went dodgy towards the end of the season. But he was back on top today, looks good. Scott Redding is there with BMW. He was down in 10th out of the 12 World Superbike riders that were there, so a learning day for Scott. He's going to have a lot to do as well since Van der Mark isn't there, so he is the only factory BMW rider that's there. But Baz and Laverty are there with BMW as well, so Baz will be learning. But Baz was 4th, so a good impressive day from Loris, who's made the switch back to World Superbikes full time. So there's definitely a shake-up in World Superbikes this season, especially with Redding to BMW and Bautista back at Ducati.
Yeah, I was just noticing, I had a quick check a moment ago of my emails since we come on the show. And there was an email which flooded in from World Superbikes too, actually. I'm guessing Kiko was behind it. Right now, available to watch, a free video, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, a free video on the World Superbike website. You don't have to pay £200 for it like you do in MotoGP. Of Scott Redding's first outing on his BMW. Apparently they've got a free video if you want to watch how he got on there, and also a general other videos available to purchase as well. But yeah, they've been really ramping up the all the I have to give a credit to World Superbikes because a lot of their coverage and online videos and stuff is looking a lot MotoGP style. Nowadays, a lot more attractive than, say, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Maybe they'll bring out a documentary soon.
The last documentary that I saw was the season highlights of 2021, voiced by Kiko Giles.
Yes.
And he said after every single race, it was one of the best races of the entire season. After every race.
He wasn't wrong, though.
Yeah, exactly. I just noted that it was mildly amusing. But yeah, World Superbikes. I've had my eye off the ball over winter with what the hell is going on with World Superbikes. I've been busy doing other stuff. So yeah.
To be fair, there hasn't been that much movement really, apart from Scott and Bautista. And obviously the 2 new Honda lads as well. That's about it really. But I'm feeling a bit more. The Hondas, I think, will be closer to the front this year. I think Liquorquona, if I can pronounce his name right, is going to be a good signing. So I think he was a bit unlucky in MotoGP not to get another year, really. I know he crashed a lot, but I think there was a lot of potential there.
Yeah, the thing with World Superbikes is they never normally have a big test day where all the riders are there. They always seem to have like decent people at Portimao and the others will be at Misano. It's like you can't really keep up with where people look like they will be at the start of the season. So it's a bit of an unknown. We had a good season last year though with Top Rack and Ray, who definitely be at the front again this season. So
yeah,
Bautista.
I'm a bit worried for Scott. Obviously, we know the main reason he's gone there is to. It sounds a bit horrible, but fill his pockets full of money. But that is the reason at the end of the day. But yeah, who can blame him? If he can make that bike work, it's going to look brilliant. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Every year they say the BMW is going to be the best bike on the grid, but it never quite makes it really as a superbike.
Well, they were saying that about BSB as well. So everyone's got on a BMW now. Okay. Yes.
They always do well in the stock classes, but turning into a superbike, they've always struggled. So maybe this year is their year, and it won't be a learning year, Lester, as you love. You love a learning year, don't you, Lester?
I always find it funny when drivers and riders at the end of a terrible race. They've obviously just had an absolute nightmare and a nightmare weekend. They've been off form, off the pace, making mistakes. And they've still got to face the media or, answer in their press release and stuff. And they say invariably, you should actually play, by the way, press release bingo or like learning year bingo, because every time a rider or a driver ever says, it's been, we took a lot of positives from the weekend and, it didn't, translate into wins. It's been a learning weekend. That means it's been a shit weekend, basically. So whenever you hear anyone say it's been a learning weekend, the only thing that they learn is that it's been a shit weekend and I'm off to McDonald's, basically. It's just always amusing to me. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I like Scott Redding, and I think he is a good rider. He did well on the Ducati, but BMW most likely wasn't the best move for himself. So even looking at the timesheets, he was only just under 0.3 of a second quicker than Christoph Ponson on the dual Motorsport Yamaha. So to be sort of that low down isn't a good sign for
There's improvement to come, let's hope.
Let's hope, yeah. Especially for BMW. They've been trying for years. Van der Mark got that win last year at Portimao, so maybe something can happen.
I think if it doesn't work out for Scott, I think he'll fall back on the cycling full time, because he seems to be taking that quite serious now. So, and he'd probably make a lot more money out of cycling than he would bike racing. So he'd probably fall on that, I reckon.
Got his own team.
Yeah, what's the team that him and Brad Jones go riding around with?
I think it's the SR45 team.
Right. Oh. All I know is it's sponsored by Mcphee, because that's all he absolutely. They must love Scott, because that's all he goes on about on his Instagram. So he definitely gets the sponsorship out of them.
Well, fair enough. I will be, as ever, trying to keep on top of about 20 different championships this year, and failing to spectacularly to. Basically, I'll come on every day and be like, I didn't manage to see what happened at the weekend. World Superbikes is just one of those, I'm afraid. But I was hugely delighted today to learn that Dave Goddard, as mentioned earlier in the show by Luke, has now been announced. Who's Dave Goddard? Well, Dave Goddard was the official two-time Motorsport Award winner for Commentator of the Year. And Dave has previously commentated on things like Speedway in Poland, Speedway in the UK, and I've worked with him. He used to produce his old radio show on his another radio thing. And also stock car racing as well, and club racing. Things like BIRC in the UK on some Alpha Live streams. He's been around a bit. He's a little bit like Duncan Vincent in that he's done loads of different things, and now he's finally realised that bikes are the place to be. And he's just been hired to cover some of the support races on the World Superbikes on the World feed. So you won't necessarily hear him on Eurosport. I don't know. I'm guessing Greg Haynes is still going to be doing that. But if you have a video pass for World Superbikes, or if you're in another part of the world and they don't have Eurosport, then you'll probably hear Alex Raby on main commentary with Steve English again, and then Dave Goddard to cover stuff like the Supersport 300 and that sort of stuff. Stuff that Al Tristan used to race in when he was younger. Yeah. But anyway, congratulations, Dave, and be good to actually hear you on the thing. I don't know how I'll be able to do that without paying any money or getting an illegal stream, but I'll just say good luck. But yeah, anyway, that should be good. World Superbikes, the first round is
April, 6th of April, I think.
Okay.
I might be wrong, I think.
I'm not going to lie, I don't even know what track is that.
Aragon.
Aragon, is it? Okay, then. That's probably my least favourite Spanish track. I know there's so many, but that's probably the one I least like. Ducatis always do well there, so I reckon Bautista double. We'll go with that.
Runaway.
Yeah.
Eighth The 10th of April. I just looked it up.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. Right. Well, I mean, have we got anything other to talk about? Am I skipping through? We made like loads of notes and stuff. I was actually prepared this week, which makes a change. But I think we've managed to cover pretty much everything that's going on. New BSB commentator. We chatted to him, Duncan Vincent, on the show. We talked about MotoGP and lots of other things. 2 and 3, Moto 2 and 3, and World Superbikes, and the MotoGP Unlimited as well. I think we managed to cover that.
I think you covered that.
Yeah, I think so. Just a bit.
What's that? Angry email from those journalists who I was slagging off earlier. I never mentioned them, so you don't know who they are.
I'm now getting straight on Amazon as soon as I finish here, and I'm going to watch it and see what it's all about.
You should watch it, if only for the free delivery that you also get with it when you purchase Amazon products.
Yeah. And Mrs. would be happy as well because she still hasn't watched Clarkson's Farm yet, so she'll be well happy if I download it. So
there you go. Watch MotoGP Unlimited and get Clarkson's Farm for free.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. All right. Thank you very much, Luke, Duncan, and Jay as well for all coming on the show. Jay, quickly, because I just remembered that I did not ask you about your Spanish trip. What actually happened in there? Who got arrested?
No one got arrested. Well, what I know of, we all did get back on the plane together, so I think we're all good. It was a really good week. First 2 days it rained, which wasn't really great for Spain when you spend all that money to go over there, and it rained for the first 2 days.
In Spain?
Yeah, it weren't great, but that was more reasons. We definitely got our money's worth out of the all-inclusive bar, let's put it that way.
Hey.
The testing went well. It's a brand new bike that I've got from Moto this season. I know you'll hate to say it, but it was learning. But we know the problems we've got to fix. So by the time we get to Lids, which is is it 3 weeks' time, Lester?
Yes, 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks' time. Yeah, so the bike will be sorted, and I reckon we're going to be hopefully near the front by Lid, which would be good. So hopefully trying to take on
front. Jay, you will.
Yes, I will be at front. And obviously we're the new Moto team bike as well, where all the rules have changed and that way, which you all have to learn. So should all be good. But Spain was a very good trip. Went away with pretty much all the 140 boys from Fab, so it was a real good laugh. And a livers and the bike.
And you can see Jay escapades all season on right here on Motorsport Radio. We are live streaming the full Fab Racing Minibikes British Championship in 2022. And you can see exactly what happens in Jay's class, which is the Pit Bike 140 class. And
also you can see behind the scenes on my YouTube channel, Pit Bike Sonic.
Pit Bike Sonic, which you're going to also bring out a podcast as well this year.
Am I? Oh well, we were talking about that, weren't we? Yeah.
Okay.
Is that still happening at the track? Is it?
If you want to do it, yeah. I mean, it was your idea to do it, so. Like
a few of the other pit bike lads, I think we'll be talking absolute rubbish, but I think it'd be quite entertaining.
No more than we usually do.
Yes.
So anyway.
If we get time, we'll do it.
So check out Jay's channel on the YouTubes, Pit Bike Sonic, and if you want to know more about general pit bike stuff, including how to get into pit bikes and some videos about which pit bike championship is maybe the best or not the best. I'm probably going
to use my bike that was my Moto team bike last year, which I can no longer use in Moto team. That is probably going to be a higher bike this season. So if anyone wants to get involved and come ride my bike.
Well, I know a couple of former Superbike show presenters and commentators of Motorsport Radio who were chomping at the bit to get back on a mini bike and pit bike, for example. I know Tristan threatens.
I think he's bought one now. I think Tristan has.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Must be doing all right over there in Spain, working in MotoGP.
Yeah, they must be paying him well.
Yeah, and Liam's also over there as well. So anyway, thank you for coming on the show, tuning in, and we will get Luke's reviews and points scoring of how everybody did in MotoGP and the top 10 from Moto2 and Moto3. We will be compiling a full championship order as the season goes on, so Luke can have the official say on how well his favourite riders did.
It's the only championship that matters, really. My rider ratings.
And it's basically up to us to shoot him down and slag it off and tell him why he's wrong.
Yep.
So that'll be coming up next Wednesday. Are we all set for Wednesday? Yeah. Okay, next Wednesday, and then there's that's it. We'll try and get some other interviews as well on, so that you're not just watching us entirely. But thank you very much for tuning in, listening, and downloading the show. And night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Contact the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website, Motorsport Radio.